Greetings ladies and gents, and welcome to this patch video for Thief Lord taken from the website Royal Road. In this video we'll be doing chapters 55 and 56, and as always I hope that you enjoy, and if you do please consider becoming a channel member by clicking on the join button below the video. Chapter 55, Damage Control. Frick! I had hope. A slim one, but still I had to hold out hope, and the two dim-witted paladins were unable to put two and two together. There may not be much hope to begin with, but it wasn't completely unreasonable to think that the pair didn't make the connection. If they knew, then I would assume the Dark Pegasus Guild already knows who I am as well. This is going to make things a crap ton more difficult for me, but the situation is not necessarily unsalvageable. I really need to do some damage control here. Bryan Hanley writes, "What do you two want? I told you, I'm not interested in teaming up with you. I do my best to feign ignorance, making damn sure that those two stay away from me." The reply ticks in only a few seconds later. Gregorian Ironguard writes, "That's not what I was going to ask. We have a problem and we need all hands on deck. There's 50 gold in it for you. So how about it?" "Oh, at least they know what type of bait to use." Bryan Hanley writes, "What do you need me to do?" Gregorius Iron writes, "I'd prefer to talk to you face to face. Can we meet somewhere?" "Well, that's a poorly concealed trap. Who do they take me for? An idiot?" Bryan Hanley writes, "Really? What are we, 12 years old? Quit wasting my time, I'm busy here." I huff in resignation. I bet the next thing they do is make up some fairly mundane and easy problem to miraculously only I can solve. Something not any of 1,000 other members of the guild can. Dumb problem coming in 5, 4, 3. Gregorius Ironguard writes, "Fine. We need your help to find a level 11 thief lord hiding in the sewers somewhere beneath the harbor district." Okay. I didn't really expect that one. Bryan Hanley writes, "Why do you need my help with that? Aren't you members of the Dark Pegasus Guild? One word from you and the entire city would be purged in only a few hours." Gregorius Ironguard writes, "Trust me, we would have already done that hours ago if we could. We were kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. We're on thin ice with the guild, and if we tell them now, we might get kicked out of the clan for our efforts." "Okay, I lost it." Bryan Hanley writes, "What do you mean? How the hell could revealing that information be a bad thing?" Gregorius Ironguard writes, "The information isn't a bad thing. The problem lies in our proof. Let's just say that the recording of our encounter with the Thief Lord is, less than flattering on our side." Bryan Hanley writes, "Psst, what did you do? Try hump a zombie or something?" Gregorius Ironguard writes, "No, wise ass. What happened is not important. What is important, though, is locating a Thief Lord as quickly as possible so that we can get some better footage and send it to our guild leader. We don't need to actually kill the guy, just find him." Bryan Hanley writes, "You do realize how ridiculous this sounds, right?" Gregorius Ironguard writes, Yeah, we know. So what do you say? Are you in or not?" I snort. This is interesting. Are these two fricking with me? The story sounds so ridiculous that it might actually be plausible. You can't really make this kind of crap up, can you? You'd have to be a pretty amazing author to come up with this crap. Thinking back, I can actually remember how the entire scenario played out. I recalled how the human paladin, was it Kevin, screamed like a little girl and ran as soon as he saw me. I can buy that the entire encounter wasn't very flattering, but is it enough for them to fear their place in the guild? I also remember my first encounter with them as a thief lord back in the Noob district, and I distinctly recall the encounter transpired in a very similar fashion. Knowing Arya, I found it hard to believe that she finds that sort of behavior acceptable for anyone under her employ. If what they're saying is true, then I might have found a way to prolong my secret identity for a while longer. I need to get on top of it, though. My main challenge is going to make sure Greg and Kevin don't tell the guild about the Thief Lord's existence for a while longer. Preferably not at all. If they need my help to locate myself, then it would be a smart thing for me to be a part of the search group. The easiest way to hide is to team up with the two pursuers, is it not? Wow, I can't even believe I'm actually considering this, but I think this opportunity is too good to pass on. Bryan Hanley writes, "I'm in. Tell me when and where." Greg told me to meet them at a small tavern in the southern end of the harbor district. The place isn't actually that far from my hideout, so it doesn't take long for me to find it. Greg told me to meet them in half an hour, but I easily make it there in less than 5 minutes. This gives me ample opportunity to scout out the nearby area and set up as many precautions as humanly possible within the time frame. I'm still not entirely convinced that this isn't a trap after all. This is why I placed all 4 of my ranged units on rooftops surrounding the inn, with both my prowlers keeping an eye on the main entrance. They will immediately notify me if any high-level players approach from any direction, whilst also being in a position to rain down hell upon any pursuers if it becomes necessary. I have deigned to let them use the 2 last paralyzing potions I have on their own discretion, as my survival is paramount to my success. Having lookouts prepared this well in advance should also give me a good warning if any enemy players are lying in ambush, as they are bound to spot anyone coming from a mile away, unless they are high-level assassins. I need to be prepared for that possibility as well, though. That's why I've placed both my cutthroats near either of the adjacent alleyways, which should be likely a spot for enemy assassins to approach from. I sincerely doubt that the stealth capabilities are powerful enough to slip past my own underlings, even at their low levels. The alleyways are far too narrow for that, and I still don't know what's waiting for me inside of the building. But I've decided to bring my own swindler along with me to function as a human shield, while my beggar awaits on the outside, ready to swap places with me using doppelganger at a moment's notice. If by some miracle the assassins are still able to pursue me, my thugs are standing at the ready to sacrifice their lives to buy me more time. I don't think that there is anything more that I can do to prepare. I've got most of my bases covered, and the only thing I can do now is wait for the 2 paladins to arrive. I spend another 10 minutes waiting to see if any ambushes approach. None arrive, or at least none that I can see, so I decide to take the initiative and head inside. Being the first to arrive, I have the advantage of choosing where we all sit. That is why I head inside and find the most secluded corner, both inside the tavern, hugged up against the back wall where I can easily be within range of my beggar in case I need to make a quick getaway. The last 15 minutes go by excruciatingly slow, but the 2 paladins eventually make their appearances without anyone trying to kill me. I suppose that's a good sign. The 2 scan the nearly empty tavern before their eyes land upon me. Greg gives me a short nod of acknowledgement before he gestures for Kevin to follow him. "Thank you for coming," Greg says while taking a seat. I don't sense any anger in his voice, and he seems tense, but still somewhat relaxed. That's a good sign, to me at least. I don't get malicious vibes from the guy. He doesn't look like an NC type who was about to spring an ambush. I give him a silent nod in response. Kevin gives me a half-interested, half-annoyed glance before he looks away, crossing his arms and drops into the seat next to Greg. "Geez, I wonder who crapped in his cereal." "Do you want a beer or anything?" Greg offers, clearly trying a bit hard to get into my good graces. I know I'm sort of acting like a jerk to this guy, but Ryan on that they know has certainly looked the part. They don't appear to know I have a good reason to be a little angry at them, though, and I don't feel like putting on much effort to hide the fact. The crap that they stirred last night is still making my blood boil. "No, I'm good. Let's just cut to the chase. What exactly do you need my help with?" Kevin shoots me a mean glare and the shorter dwarf. "Seriously, cuz, we don't need this crap bag. We should just tell Arya and get it over with. Dealing with this jerk isn't worth it." "Shut your fricking mouth, Kevin, or I swear to God," Greg snaps back, causing Kevin to flinch. He takes a few seconds to glare at his younger cousin, daring him to say another word. Kevin eventually snorts and looks away. "Right, sorry about that," Greg eventually says, returning his gaze towards me. "As I said earlier, we need help locating a level 11 thief lord that should be hanging around the sewers around the city. Luckily, there aren't many alternative leveling opportunities in the city, so he will eventually need to make an appearance if he needs to level up. And what do I do if I find him? Fighting that guy would be suicide for a lone crafter like me, and I don't intend on losing a level after the latest patch, I say. Greg raises his hands defensively. No, you don't need to fight him. If you see him, then just shoot me a message and we'll hurry over. We only need to get a glimpse of him ourselves as proof of his existence to show our guildmaster. So you want me to sit on my rear for hours on end and wait for some random villain to appear and most likely kill me? I gotta say, that sounds like a waste of time. Greg sighs. We don't expect you to search for him actively. Just keep an eye out if you run into any suspicious. I rub my chin. Sounds easy enough. I need to get a description of who I'm looking for, though. Can you forward me the video you took earlier? Absolutely not! Kevin nearly shouts, shooting me a venomous glare. I raise an eyebrow in return. Kevin, I thought I told you to. No, frick that, Kevin interrupts. If you send him the video, who's to say that he won't just blackmail us for money by threatening to forward it to the ice-cold witch of the Guildmaster? Because, you fricking moron, that would force him to break his oath binding. He'll be in more crap than we will. Greg snaps back. He won't if he saves it until after the sewers become common knowledge. We all know it's only a matter of time until the secret is out anyway. What sort of jerk does he think I am? Blackmail? I may be a villain, but I would never perform an actual real-life crime. Hell, I never even considered blackmailing them, but now that he mentions it, forwarding Arya the video would be pretty spiteful revenge. I like it. Oh, for the love of God, I sighed loudly, interrupting the bickering pair. First of all, frick you for assuming I'm a jerk, Kevin. Second, I don't give a crap about your petty-ass problems. Tell me or not, I don't give a frick as long as I get paid. Third, and last, if I want to blackmail you, I would just use the recording of this conversation where you just called your guildmaster an ice-cold witch. I'm sure that would make her angry way more than you pissing your pants during combat. I can figuratively see the color draining from Kevin's face. He looks so comical, I have to restrain myself from breaking out into laughter. Serves him right. Kevin's lips seem glued together, and I assume that he won't even have anything to say for the rest of the conversation. Now, all I need to do is wrap this up, so that I can... how did you know what happened? Greg asked me curiously. My heart threatens to leap out my throat, and I do my utmost to keep my face even. Oh crap, he never told me that it was in the video, did he? Crap, think fast, Ryan. I snort, trying to buy myself some time to think. Isn't it obvious? I say, raising my eyebrow. Greg frowns, but doesn't say anything. There really aren't that many possible ways for you to frick up. You know, besides doing something sexual to the mobs down there. But even Kevin isn't that sick of a frick, is he? I snort, taking a moment to wait for an answer that probably won't come. That means you probably fricked up in some other manner, and seeing how you seem to hold a grudge against Kevin, then it's safe to assume that he made a fool of himself while looking the part. Considering how you find yourself sitting across from some random guy trying to make a shady deal, it would have looked really freaking bad. Crapping your pants kinda bad. Greg frowns deepened, and he appears to attempt to stare at a hole at me for several moments. Eventually he shakes his head with a sigh. That makes sense, I suppose. Aye, way to stick up for me there, cuz, Kevin snaps at his cousin. He's not wrong, though, Greg says, glaring back. Kevin clenches his jaw, but says nothing. His face is lighting up with the center sleigh, though. Right, before you two start bickering again like an old married couple, I would like to suggest a few improvements to your plan. I say. This immediately catches both of the paladins' attention. What do you have in mind? Greg asks, tagging his beard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but apart from the thief lord, only the three of us should have knowledge about the sewers, yes? I asked. The two nod in unison. Perfect. That makes this whole lot easier. As you may know, my profession is a trap maker. This means that I have access to several convenient contraptions that can be fully utilized in an endeavor like this. My skill level is just high enough to start making alarm traps. I can make a couple for you. For a fee, of course, that you can attach to every sewer exit in the vicinity. This will alert you whenever someone triggers it, making it easier for you to cover more ground. I can show you how to place the traps, and if one of the traps is triggered, then that means the thief lord should be nearby. You can then just camp around that general area and wait for him to reappear. I see. How long would it take you to make a dozen of those traps? Greg asks. Oh, probably a couple hours. I'll sell you a batch for 15 gold. Sound good? Greg grimaces for a second, but then quickly agrees. Their personal economy should be strained enough as it is already. I almost feel bad for charging them for this. Almost. Great. Now to maximize our efficiency, I would like for you to show me the map of where the sewer entrances in the city. It should increase our odds of running into a guy sooner rather than later. I hold my breath, waiting for the answer. I can figuratively see them biting into the fishing hook here. Greg looks like he's about to pop a blood vein on his forehead, and Kevin is gaping in outrage. I don't think that we can do that. If the guild found out that we showed anyone else, Greg says weakly. Oh, please. I'm still under the oath binding, remember? Who am I going to tell? My cat. Just spit it out already, and we can get this over with. I lean back in my chair, crossing my arms. Then I push them too far. Greg looks like he's about to crap bricks. Okay, fine, he says eventually, forwarding me a screenshot of the roughly drawn map of the city. But don't tell anyone you have this, okay? My heart is slamming against my chest. Holy crap, I can't believe that worked. Damn good job, Mr. Silvertongue. I'm so excited about getting access to this map. I have to fake a cough to keep my face from splitting with a grin. This map is amazing. It shows all the sewer entrances in the entire city. There are almost 100 of them, and there are even several entrances that I didn't know existing back in the shantytown. This map is insanely valuable to me. Oh God, if Arya knew the Thief Lord got his hands on this map. Excellent. This will make things much easier for all of us, I say in an even tone. The only thing left which would be the two of you tell me when and where you farm in the sewers to help coordinate our efforts. It's easier to cover more ground this way. Yeah. Just keep that map to yourself, okay? Greg says. I give him a blank stare, raising an eyebrow. Oh, of course. End of chapter. Chapter 56. Job assignments. I laugh all the way back to my hideout. I should probably feel a little bad about deceiving those two, but in my opinion, they deserve what's coming to them. If they frick with my game, I'll frick with theirs. I'm fully aware that what I'm doing is morally worse, but deciding to use such an underhanded method to catch me instead of just biting the sour lemon and admit to Arya about their frick-up is completely their own decision. I didn't force them to make a bad decision. I'm only letting it happen while capitalizing on it. Being the villain can be so satisfying sometimes. My underlings and I make good time making our way back to the hideout. I consider just heading into the alley and start dishing out some orders, but with increased play traffic today, I should play it safely as possible. Besides, the hideout is less than 5 minutes away, and I can afford a little extra cautious. We finally make it back and head inside the rundown building, and I don't see any particular reason for us to go all the way under the ground, so we gather ourselves inside the common room of the building. The chairs and tables are still laying haphazardly around on the floor after the fight of yesterday, so we take a moment to tidy up the place and discard the furniture that's too broken to use. I've been meaning to repair all the broken stuff around here, but I still haven't gotten around to it yet. Perhaps later when I recruit a new specialist. I am certain the Tinkerer has the requisite skills for the task. I'm sure he does, just as the rest of us have other skills that we can put to use. Skills that I should put to use as soon as possible, actually. I didn't really have time to check this earlier, but I bring up the freshly acquired jobs my agents gathered earlier for perusal. Drug Smuggler Struggle. Job type, Heist. Difficulty, Medium. Deadline, 10 days. Rewards, 500 experience. Alchemical ingredients. Minor smuggling ring is rumored to have received a large shipment of rare and highly illegal herbs. If these herbs were to go missing, Daenerys' underworld would lose an important source of income. This presents a golden opportunity for a new entrepreneur to make his mark on the city. That is, if one is bold enough to take it. Do you wish to accept the job? The Funeral of Fabian Funbag Shirebagon. Job Heist difficulty hard. Deadline 5 days. Rewards 800 experience. A set of armor. A world-renowned bard and gambler, Fabian Funbag Shirebagon, recently passed away, surrounded by his family and loved ones. Fabian was truly loved by the people, and his funeral will be a public spectacle of epic proportions. Fabian will be wearing his custom-made set of armor, which is told to bring him luck in both the stage and a poker table. The common saying amongst thief lords is that a dead have no need for luck. Perhaps the armor needs a new owner. Hint: Fabian's corpse is guarded by 3 of his relatives in the crypts below the cathedral. Do you wish to accept the job? These jobs are not bad at all. Sometimes I do love that this is indeed a game, and since it's a game, the game offers a lot of convenient solutions. It's almost as if the game read my mind earlier when I said I needed some new gear, as well as more ingredients for my poisoner. Those two are currently my main shortcomings, and the game responded as ordered. I love it. If only the real life was like this. I'm a little disappointed none of them are easy difficulty, and I'm sure a little reluctant about sending my underlings off to tackle a medium difficulty job on their own. I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't have too much problem doing it, but I fear that I would sustain a couple of casualties during the process. I could come with, of course, but joining my underlings on a job isn't always as effective use of my time. Training and developing my skills is vital in my process down the road, or else I'll suffer. But I need to keep my mind that I have other obligations as well. I only really gain experience from completing the job, and I get that even if I'm not present. I have faith in Cobra. With his new gear, he should be a combat machine. I do notice something slightly different, though. On the funeral job, the game seems to have both removed the question marks behind the job difficulty rating, as well as adding in a hint at the end. The hint gives me a pretty interesting information. It's helpful, but not overly so that the job is much easier. I believe that this is a result of my beggar ranking up for 2-tier swindler. I frown, allowing myself to slip into deep thoughts. These are tough decisions to make. I do have a lot of powerful underlings now, but all of them are at least a level below me, and my latest 2 spotters are still only level 1. There are a lot more of them now, and even their gear is a notch above average. I like to consider myself a cautious person, but someday I'll just have to face the fact that I'm really not. It feels like I do nothing but take chances these days, and I'm not really following the careful game style that I had when I was playing a necromancer. And I'm not sure if it's going to be impatient because I just started over, or if the intensity of the big city is starting to get to me. But I have to admit that I feel a lot more alive when taking risks. It's stupid, but fun. When I look at it this way, I don't see a reason why I shouldn't have a couple chances. I'm playing this game to enjoy myself after all. Why shouldn't I live a little? Within reason, of course. I still won't play a hand with impossible odds, and I'm certain that I won't risk the game over scenario. Shaking my head with a grin, I look around the room and my underlings are all sitting at attention, anticipating my orders. I let my gaze wander over to the gathered crowd as I subconsciously take a mental inventory of the gear and assets. This should be doable. My eyes fall on my lieutenant at last. The burly and nondescript-looking human fighter sits with his feet up on the table, casually cleaning his fingernails with a rusty dagger. Cobra is the plight of my outfit, which should come as no surprise since he's the only one of my underlings who has any semblance of personality. I've come to learn whose personality is pretty superficial, usually limited to talk about the immediate desires like prostitution or violence, but at least he is loyal and fairly autonomous. I haven't talked much to the guy during these past few days, and sometimes I wonder if there is more to his personality than I think. Hell, now is as good a time as any to figure it out, isn't it? Hey, Cobra, how you holding up? I asked my lieutenant. The elite fighter raises both of his eyebrows, sheathing his dagger. I'm doing just fine, boss. No reason to complain. Why are you asking? Nothing much really. Just wanted to know if you're up for a bit of a challenge, I smile. Challenger? Count me in, boss, he grins, giving me his full attention. His grin quickly drops, though. Unless it's nothing sexual. Stop asking about it, I frowned. Perhaps I'm mistaken. I should have seen that joke coming from a mile away. Then tell me who to stab, boss. He grins as if nothing's wrong. Shaking my head lightly, I do my best to conceal my grin and my own. While Cobra may be annoying, his positive and can-do attitude is rather infectious. You just can't help but smile at his antics. I want you to lead the assault on the drug smugglers. Think you can handle it? I ask. Thankfully, my lieutenant seems to be fully aware of the job description for some reason. Game logic reigns supreme. Sure thing, boss. The boys and I can handle everything. How do you want it done? He guffaws, leaning further back in his chair. I smile. Preferably as stealthily as possible, but don't be afraid to use violence. I recommend you. Got it, boss. Same procedure as always, then, he chuckles. I frown. What the hell? Even NPCs interrupting me now? That's incredibly rude. Same procedure. What do you mean by that? Cobra raises an eyebrow. Yeah, boss. Just do the same thing we always do. And that is? He sighs. Can he sigh? Come on, boss. I've only known you a little less than a week, but I've been by your side for almost every hour of every day. I'd have been an idiot not to learn the great tactician like you, boss, he says evenly. Huh. That's odd. I don't even think that it was sarcasm. Is he fricking with me? Can NPCs really learn from a player behavior? I'm not sure that what's going on, but I'm not leaving anything to chance here. So you're basically copying my tactics. Well, yeah, sort of. No plan or scenario is ever the same, but your preparations usually follow the same pattern. All right, I say slowly. If you're so confident that you have cracked the mystery box of my tactics wide open, please explain what you've learned. I huff. I'm not quite sure I believe that the NPC has already analyzed and copied my behavioral patterns. Of course, boss. First thing is first, you have us scout the surrounding area and target location, trying to gather as much information about the building's layout, potential entrances and the number of enemies, and escape routes. After that, you place several sentries around the perimeter to keep an eye out for enemy reinforcements or movements. Lastly, you find the thickest cluster of enemies and overwhelm them in a surprise attack, utilizing as much excessive violence as you possibly can. Isn't that about it? He grins confidently. Son of a... That's roughly the idea why my basic preparations are breaching a compound. How did he figure me out this quickly? Am I this easy to see through? Worst of all, did the fricker just make my role during heists obsolete? I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this. I don't use excessive violence, I mutter. Sure you don't, boss, and I'm actually not that fond of prostitutes either. He winks at me. How rude. Oh, you don't? What a pity. I guess I'll have to cancel the party I planned for you and the boys after a successful completion of the heist. What a shame, too. I'd really sprung on the classy goals as well, I say, with mock sadness. The color in Cobra's face quickly drains. No, don't be do that, boss. Did I mention how magnificent your tactic is? Only a true criminal mastermind could. Yeah, I'm just fricking with you, Cobra. You can remove that tongue from my ass and you put it to good use elsewhere. I guffawed. I'm almost too easy to get back at the guy. This got me thinking, if I can train Cobra to be more efficient during heists, then what else can he do? I have to say, this is my first time really interacting with an NPC companion, and my knowledge about them is scarce. Can I teach him other things? Perhaps, maybe, some magic. Hey, Cobra, have you ever tried to learn using spells? I asked carefully, eyeing his every movement. Magic? Nah, my pa had me tested for magic affinity when I was a little kid. No such luck, I'm afraid. I'm a magical dud, and so are most of those who choose the life of thievery when I think about it. The rule on the street is, if you know magic, you probably wouldn't live in the street. Well, damn. It was worth a shot. Should have known that the game law wouldn't allow for a loophole. If I could teach any of my underlings any of the magic schools of magic, my underlings would become a terrifying force to be reckoned with. The doors to the magic underlings may be forever closed, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be other loopholes to take advantage of. Then how about crafting, resource gathering? I asked hopefully. Nah, sorry boss, same thing really. My pa always said I was clumsy with other things other than a blade. I tried picking flowers for a young maiden once, prettiest girl in this side of town, I tell you. The results weren't pretty, might as well have handed her a handful of manure. So my pa said, son, you're a daft and you're ugly. No craftsman will ever take you on as apprentice. He shakes his head. Now that I think about it, I never really liked the old bastard. Nevertheless, he wasn't completely wrong. As the story for most of us boys are, if you are talented enough to use a hammer, you probably wouldn't be in our profession. He sighs. I rub my chin. I guess I should have seen that coming. The game really doesn't like loopholes, does it? Nevertheless, I had to try. There was only one thing left to try. Then how about traps? You think you could at least place a few of them? Cobra's eyes lit up. Sure thing, boss. I may not be talented enough to make them, but these fingers can do more than pleasure a woman, he winks. Ah, hell yeah. Jackpot. I quickly fish out a few basic glue and acid traps out of my inventory and put them on the table between us. Do you know how to place them? Cobra scratches his chin. Yeah, I think so, boss. I've seen you dabble with the blasted things plenty over the past few days. I might not be able to do it as fast as you, but I think I'll manage. Splendid. Use these traps as you see fit, but I recommend you set one up to glue traps near your most likely escape route, and, for the love of God, make sure none of the other idiots accidentally set them off. He guffaws. I'll keep them in check. Don't worry about it. Good, I say, leaning back in my chair. Now, what the hell are you waiting for? Those smugglers sure as hell won't rob themselves. Get to it." "Sure thing, boss," he chuckles. He gets to his feet and he turns towards the rest of my underlings who sit idly nearby. "All right, you lazy sacks of crap. The boss gave us a job, and if I see any of you saggy crap for brain slack off for even a second, I'll personally kick in your teeth. Am I making myself clear?" he shouts. My underlings seemed a little taken back, but they quickly gather themselves and grab their weapons. "Hoorah!" they shout in unison before they all get to their feet. Not one to waste time, Cobra takes the lead and heads outside. I sit still for a minute waiting for the room to fully empty. I have to say, I didn't really expect this neat little feature. If Cobra can be this autonomous, it should open up a whole series of potential development paths. I really can't wait to unlock a second lieutenant. If I keep going at this pace, I should definitely unlock another one before I hit level 20. The question is, how far can they go? No matter, I'll discover these things as I go along. I've been snacking for long enough as it is already, and I don't have a ton of things to do. While Cobra is off completing the job, I should head north to the craftsman's district to see Odin as any new trap mechanics for me. I should probably start working on those alarm traps that I tricked Greg and Kevin into ordering as well. I chuckle. Playing as a thief lord, I can't say that I ever really thought that I would end up having customers. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this batch video. If you enjoy the story, please don't forget to go and show the author some support. And if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below. The easiest way to support this channel would be to subscribe and share as much as possible to help this channel grow. And I'll see you all in the next video, and until then I hope you all keep well and safe. Cheers.